Spiritfarer is a cozy 2D platforming management game in which you tend to your crops, craft and cook new items and dishes, build out your boat, nurture meaningful friendships with one small twist. Because it's also a game about dying and letting go. And this is how Spiritfarer, a cute hand-drawn video game, helped me work through some unresolved loss and grief. Hello there. I'm Mr. Cobwobbles, this is Alfred, and welcome to a more personal video. I'd like to take some time today to talk about my game of the year of 2020, Spiritfarer. This game is like Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing, but on a boat in a 2D hand-drawn platformer coat that deals with serious themes carried by fun game mechanics, deep relatable characters, and a beautiful, breathtaking soundtrack. I most definitely recommend playing it. What can I say? This game literally left me speechless. I played it over on my Twitch channel when it came out, and I think I cried like a dozen times, but here's the thing. They were good, healing cries. Why was Spiritfarer so important to me? Well, because of a lot of things. Let's start with the story. In Spiritfarer, you play as Stella, who becomes ferrymaster to the deceased. In other words, a Spiritfarer. Together with your cat Daffodil, you build a boat to explore the world, and by doing so, you'll befriend and care for spirits before finally releasing them into the afterlife. You'll fulfill their last wishes and solve their remaining problems to get them ready to really cross over into the afterlife. So it takes place in this world between, where you need to guide the spirits you meet towards the actual afterlife. It's beautiful, but it really pulls on your heartstrings. This is going to be a bit hard for me to talk about, but shortly before this game came out, I broke. I hit rock bottom, or at least that's what it felt like. I had never felt like that before, and I had frequent panic attacks. More anxiety, nightmares, the whole package deal. And I decided to go to therapy, which thankfully helped me out a lot. But what also helped was this game. In therapy, we quickly discovered that I had some unresolved feelings about deaths in my family. Some were expected, some were not. And I really had troubled feelings about that still that I didn't even realize were there. Spiritfarer really helped me with that, because through its story, you learn how to let go, how to treasure memories, but ultimately letting a friend or a relative go. And most importantly, be at peace with that. And I really struggled with that. And what made all of that so effective were the characters. The characters in this game are marvelous. I absolutely love the entire cast of characters. They all have rich backstories you explore, and despite looking like fantastical beings, which is how they are portrayed in this world, they feel so incredibly real and tangible. In some cases, they even reminded me of relatives that I had lost. And obviously, that hit hard. With a few of the characters, it was even like reliving that grief. But then the game offered what I often couldn't have in real life, a chance to say goodbye. It honestly was so therapeutic for me. And when I finished the game, my therapist was also amazed by how suddenly I had made progress on making peace with my grief. And they didn't believe me at first when I told her that the only thing that I had done in the meantime was play Spiritfarer. So yeah, the characters are truly, truly amazing and added a sense of depth to the overall story, made it feel even more real, even though the way the game is depicted doesn't look real. And speaking of that, the way this game is depicted is beautiful. It has a 2D hand-drawn art style, and it looks truly amazing. The world of this limbo in between the land of the living and the afterlife is portrayed as a sea with islands to explore where you'll find the spirits who are ready to be guided to the true afterlife. Which is a beautiful metaphor, and I love it because each of these characters is a bit lost in a sea of experiences and thoughts from when they lived. And you, as Stella, guides them through that, both figuratively and literally. The fact that this game takes place in a beautifully realized, rich, living world makes the whole experience of playing through it even more magical. It adds to the level of immersion, and the thing that enhances that even more is the music. Where do I even begin with the music? It's magical. It hits all the right tones every single time. It elevates emotions. It can lift you up during an epic mini game and make you feel invincible, but then it can bring you back down to earth and make you really feel the gravity of what some characters have been through and really feel that connection that you've made with them. The music is phenomenal, especially when it's time to say goodbye to a character that you've grown so attached to. It makes you feel sad, but at the same time, you feel a rush of hope and peace. It's cathartic, and I love it so much. The sounds in this game are also very satisfying. Every step you take, every action has a very satisfying sound to it, and it complements the atmosphere the music creates for you. There's a few things that I'd like to mention that don't really belong in a big category, so let's call this the lightning round. I love how a lot of crafting in this game has a small mini-game-like action to it. To get wooden planks, you have to saw the logs you got in particular patterns, and depending on how good you do it, you'll get less or more planks from it. Same goes for making cloth, or sometimes there's even mini-games for getting particular materials, like getting gold from this dragon, or catching lightning in bottles during a storm. It's awesome. There's also a bunch of spirits scattered around the world, and their dialogue is hilarious, which adds a bit of a silly feel to all of this as well, and you really need that because the themes are quite heavy in this game. I could spit off tall buildings forever. On the off chance that I might hit someone right in the head. I seem to never run out of spit. This small bridge isn't very high up, and nobody ever swims down here. Still, it's pretty satisfying to spit. I'm fully equipped. I've got my mouth. I've got my bottle of water. I'm ready. I've got the spirit to do it for years. It takes some pressure off. Every time you come across this shark character to upgrade your ship, he greets you with a pun, which is amazing. Oh, and maybe my most favorite feature is this. You can hug Daffodil and everyone who lives on your boat, and it produces so much serotonin. The cuteness is over 9,000. It is marvelous. Makes me feel warm inside. Beyond all the themes of acceptance and peace surrounding death and saying your goodbyes, I also got a deeper meaning from the game, and I realized that not everyone will feel the same about Spiritfarer as I do. After all, this video is just my personal experience with it, but I wanted to share it anyways because I find it astonishing that a game can bring about such of an impact on a person. Last year, just before this game came out, I lost all sense of direction, and in a way, I guess I'm still a bit lost. I found out the scary realization that I might not want to do the thing that I studied 4 years for. I have many dreams and aspirations. I'd love to be a full-time content creator, and I'd also love to be a writer, but the truth is that I don't exactly know what I want. nor do I know what exactly I'm doing. And I had to come to the realization that no one really does, do they? In this game, Stella is thrown into this role of ferrying spirits to the Everdoor and make them be at peace with crossing over into the afterlife. But she doesn't really know what to do. So she and you as a player try to do your best. Because in the end, that's all we can do, right? Our best. Last year, I felt lost on the seas and oceans of uncertainty and doubt and anxiety. And Stella was also a bit lost, just on the seas and oceans of this limbo she was in. And as Stella brought people to the Everdoor when they were ready to let go and cross over, the game brought me to acceptance. And I still feel a bit lost, but I also know now that feeling lost is okay. And eventually I'll find my way, and so will you. So yeah, at the surface, this game looks like a cozy, beautifully hand-drawn resource management platformer with cute character designs, and for some people it might just be that. But for me personally, it's been a therapeutic experience on being able to let go of loved ones when it's time. A game about being lost and being unsure on what you want to do with your life. A game about how to say goodbye and be at peace with that. At the end of my playthrough, Spiritfarer took me to a personal Everdoor. Not one that would take me to the afterlife, but one that took me to living the rest of my life. And living that rest of that life just a tiny little bit more mentally stable. So yeah, have you played Spiritfarer? What did it do for you? How did you feel about it? And if you haven't played it, will you? I personally think you should. I highly recommend it. Thank you so much for watching this very personal video about what this game has meant to me personally. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing, and clicking that bell. Feel free to watch another video. See you later, and hoot hoot, motherforkers.